Gentlemen, we have called you together to inform you that we are going to overthrow the United States government. You still think that jet fuel brought down the World Trade Center? Does anybody else see a problem here?
They are testing you. They know the words coming out. It's going to come out in the 28 pages. The criminal elements of our government with Saudi Arabia ran 9/11. And so they're just, I guess they'll come out and announce, yeah, we did it because we're patriots. And if you don't support the government blowing up the World Trade Centers and Building 7, you're not a patriot. If you don't support blowing up the World Trade Centers, I get it, you're a Russian spy. Yeah, that'd be a good headline. And I'm not even joking anymore. They're mainlining that our government runs Al-Qaeda right now, thinking the public's so dumb, they'll go, big deal. What, you're not a patriot? You don't support Al-Qaeda? This is the level of satire we've reached. Because Karl Rove, but also Nancy Pelosi, they all make similar statements, said they control reality. No, you don't, you dumb witch. You may control giving the orders to get Botox every week where you look like a rubber face, a rubber chicken. With Secretary of State Kerry, you both look like the same person. But you don't control reality, you dumb witch. You're not going to live forever. You're not a god. You're a pile of you-know-what. A steaming pile of horse manure. But that's not even kind because horse manure has nutrients for the soil and the insects and the grass in it. I mean, we just have to hate these people. We just have to fully throw them up like poison in our stomach. We have to get them out of us. They are anathema. And evil always tends to take over historically during cycles because good people just are blind. We are blind. We just cannot get our minds around the dishonor, the cowardliness, the scumminess, the weakness, the filth of wanting to inject billions of people with vaccines to cripple their minds and give them cancer at a young age. The globalists get off on that, and so we can't even get our minds around it because it's 1,000 trillion miles away from where we are. These people have crawled out of the pit of hell to feed on our children and sell their body parts and to splice every creation God's made together in abominations. See, for the globalists, the journey is the destination. Dominating us, poisoning us, hurting us, destabilizing us is their God. And the minute, see, once the illusion breaks, once the trance breaks, we'll just be like, whoa. Whoa, I was in a trance. Why'd I ever put up with this? And you see the trance is falling. When they have one failure, and I've always explained this to everyone, like they've had taking our guns. I said this 5 years ago. When they have one failure on a major initiative, every domino starts falling. And these churches are there to tell you that it's the end of the world and that there's nothing we can do and we have to give in because it's all over. Folks, it's free will. We have free will. Yes, the world will end. Yes, the Antichrist will come to power. Yes, all this will happen if we let it happen. People say, oh, it's all in God's plan. We are God's plan. And yes, undoubtedly, to test humanity, the technology, the evil will get to a point, whether it's 5 years from now or 100 years from now, where it will overwhelm humanity to such a core level that God will step in. But God's already stepping in through you. Who do you think you are? Who do you think I am? We are manifestations of God's will on this planet. And the sooner we start realizing that and realize why the enemy hates us and desperately poisons us, because we're like 5,000-foot shining platinum giants to the New World Order. Do you understand that? We're fire-breathing Godzillas to them. They hate us, folks. They hate you. They hate your children. They hate your wife. They hate your husband. They hate corn. They hate wheat. They hate watermelons. They hate sunlight. They hate the sky. Why do you think the EPA came out and attacked sunlight 2 days ago and said it's bad? Why do you think Cass Sunstein wants to make a law where you can't say sunlight's good for you? Every doctor until 20 years ago said, your kid's sick, you're sick, get out and get some sunlight. Yeah, sunlight will kill you, but not having it will kill you quicker. You understand that? You understand that? The sun will set you free, ladies and gentlemen. That's why they hate it. These people are literally vampires. And by literally, the legends of vampires are only a wives' tale around the fire to describe what the elite are to kids that aren't that complex to understand. You stay away from the castle, and you don't get near the castle at night. And you don't fish down there in those ponds by the castle, because there are people that will grab you and will put you in a dungeon and will drink your blood. Now, did those people live forever? No, but they will grab you and they will torture you and they will drink your blood. They are vampires. And that's what we're facing, folks. And until we realize that these are people that hate the sun, these are people that hate life, these people are from hell. They're from another dimension. They don't like us. And it's time to stop liking them. Do you understand that? You do not admit they're evil. You do not admit they're out to get you. They win. You're under a trance. You're blind. You must break your trance. You must admit it. And only then can you transcend these people. That's the moment you're free. Is the moment you put the glasses on. That's why I love Rowdy Piper, rest his soul, a listener and a great patriot. Such an allegorical key scene of coming out of Plato's cave when he says to his good friend, the only friend he's got, his whole family's died from what the globalists are putting in the food and the water. The society's crumbling. They're telling him it's great. He says, man, it all makes sense now. Just put these glasses on or start eating concrete. Because I love you enough that I'm going to get in a fight with you, and we're going to hurt each other real bad, but it doesn't matter. You're going to put these on. And then once you put these glasses on, you're going to realize how stupid it is. You think I want to fight with cops? You think I want to fight with black people? You think I want to fight with Mexicans? You think I want to fight with Midwestern white people? You think I want to fight with Arabs or Muslims? You think I want to fight with Christians? You think I want to... No, I want to empower and see people free. And the minute you put the glasses on, it's a decision, and really look at what we're facing, it'll all be a joke. It won't matter that we just beat the hell out of each other. It won't matter all the stupid stuff they put between us once we understand it was all done to us on purpose to keep us blind from the truth. You can break that trance just like that. The minute you want to, you can be free. The second you decide, it's all about free will. But let me warn you about something. And I'm not copying the Matrix. It's an allegory. It's always been true. All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more. Because once you realize the true horror of this, it's going to change your world forever. And you're not going to be able to just sit there calmly anymore and go through your bumbling life worried about fantasy football or acting tough to your buddies. Because when you hit the rock bottom of this situation, you're going to get the million-mile view of the whole stinking thing. And there's no coming back from that rabbit hole. But here's the secret. You're already in the rabbit hole. The secret is, this is all about the choice you're going to make. You want to sign on to funding Al-Qaeda? You want to sign on to babies having their organs harvested? You want to sign on to mutating God's creation? You want to sign on to this? Because you're scared of it? You think maybe you cozy up to it and the Stockholm Syndrome is going to take care of you? It's going to tear you apart. It's going to suck you dry. You will die. You will go through pain either way. But doing it in an honorable way is heavenly. It's Valhalla compared to submitting to these vampires and letting them slow bleed us. We join them on the field of combat. We politically and spiritually hack them to pieces.
Most of us already know.
Gentlemen, we have called you together to inform you that we are going to overthrow the United States government. Do you still think that jet fuel brought down the World Trade Center? Does anybody else see a problem here? If the government has nothing to hide, why are they so afraid to answer a few questions? This story does not add up.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. The title of this report is A Satirist's Dream, Closing the Gap Between Anti-Corruption Law and Reality. I could fill my 60 seconds talking about the 18 years' worth of unaudited accounts, or the bazillions that are squandered on agriculture and foreign aid boondoggles, or the Tillack case, where instead of any of the alleged fraudsters being arrested, it was the journalist trying to find out about them who found himself banged up by the police. I could talk about the £6.6 million spent last year by European commissioners simply on entertainment and luxury gifts and hotels. I could talk about the wonderful spectacle of President Van Rompuy and Commissioner Ashton flying to the same meeting in Russia in separate private jets, leaving Brussels within 4 hours of each other. Instead, I'll confine myself to saying this. These things happen not because the EU attracts particularly bad people. I mean, of course, it attracts some bad people. Man is fallen, and like all institutions, it contains those who give in to temptation. It happens rather because there is no link between taxation, representation and expenditure at Brussels level. It was Milton Friedman who said there's two kinds of money in the world. There's your money and there's my money. The trouble is that in the EU, it's all your money. Hence negligence, corruption, fraud, and what we see before us today.
Mr. Co-President Nigel Farage, Freedom and Democracy.
Well, good morning, Mr. Van Rompuy. You've been in office for 1 year, and in that time the whole edifice is beginning to crumble. There's chaos. The money's running out. I should thank you. You should perhaps be the pin-up boy of the Eurosceptic movement. But just look around this chamber this morning. Just look at these faces. Look at the fear. Look at the anger. Poor old Barroso here looks like he's seen a ghost. You know, they're beginning to understand that the game is up, and yet in their desperation to preserve their dream, they want to remove any remaining traces of democracy from the system. And it's pretty clear that none of you have learned anything. You know, when you yourself, Mr. Van Rompuy, say that the euro has brought us stability, I suppose I could applaud you for having a sense of humour, but isn't this really just the bunker mentality? You know, your fanaticism is out in the open. You talked about the fact that it was a lie to believe that the nation state could exist in a 21st century globalised world. Well, that may be true in the case of Belgium, who haven't had a government for 6 months, but for the rest of us, right across every member state in this union, and perhaps this is why we see the fear in the faces, increasingly people are saying, we don't want that flag, we don't want the anthem, we don't want this political class, we want the whole thing consigned to the dustbin of history. And we had the Greek tragedy earlier on this year, and now we have the situation in Ireland. Now, I know that the stupidity and greed of Irish politicians has a lot to do with this. They should never ever have joined the euro. They suffered with low interest rates, a false boom and a massive bust. But look at your response to them. What they are being told, as their government's collapsing, is that it would be inappropriate for them to have a general election. In fact, Commissioner Wren here said they had to agree their budget first before they'd be allowed to have a general election. Just who the hell do you think you people are? You are very, very dangerous people indeed. Your obsession with creating this euro state means that you are happy to destroy democracy. You appear to be happy for millions and millions of people to be unemployed and to be poor. Untold millions must suffer so that your euro dream can continue. Well, it won't work, because it's Portugal next. With their debt levels of 325% of GDP, they're the next ones on the list, and after that I suspect it will be Spain. And the bailout for Spain would be 7 times the size of Ireland, and at that moment all of the bailout money has gone. There won't be any more. But it's even more serious than economics, because if you rob people of their identity, if you rob them of their democracy, then all they are left with is nationalism and violence. I can only hope and pray that the euro project is destroyed by the markets before that really happens.
Thank you.
They cannot create the world of Orwell. They have to manipulate us to create it. And what they're doing all the time, and a lot of this stuff in the movies, which are feeding you what they want to happen, look at all the movies over the last decade or so, more and more now all the time, that are portraying this very police state and this very Orwellian fascist Agenda 21 world that I've been talking about. They're doing that for a reason. It's to implant that in the subconscious so it becomes reality through humans' creative imagination. They have to get us to do it. Number one, the fascist global state is not coming, because we're not fricking having it anymore. And we are not any longer going to be manipulated into manifesting our own enslavement. And when they tell us to be quiet, we shout bloody louder. Silence is consent. Can you hear us now? If you want to be free, then don't run and hide. This is a time for looking the world in the bloody eye. Together. Coming together. Strength does not come from physical capacity, it comes from indomitable will, Mahatma Gandhi. And that will says we are not having it anymore. Human race, get off your knees. What are you doing down there? Hey!